We're back at it again, finally working on the Mercedes AMG HAMMER build. Let's rewind about 6 months. I picked up this fine beauty sitting in my neighbor's garage when he was about to dump it into a junkyard. Now he said I could have this car for $100 if I could get it running within a month. It had been sitting for a couple years and didn't start and had a bunch of problems. Knowing absolutely next to nothing about Mercedes, especially even the existence of this car, I said, why would I want that? Then I realized I'm a car nut with a crippling addiction to buy broken cars. Well, I did it. I bought another car. I just bought this Coyote Mustang GT. Did it again. We bought another car. So I said, how hard could it be? It was very well taken care of and had a binder of documents proving tens of thousands of dollars put into this car over the years. So we quickly rolled it over to my house and me and Lenny got to work and got the engine running. But when we went to drive it, it only worked in reverse with absolutely no forward gears. So we pulled the transmission out and found that the B2 piston band had broke, and since it's the first piece in and last piece out, the transmission needed a full rebuild, and it's not cheap. When the car itself is only worth maybe $1,000 in running shape here in the States, and a rebuild costing thousands of dollars plus labor, didn't make any sense. But then I discovered that with little work we could turn this car into an AMG HAMMER, which instantly became one of my favorites. So me and Lenny got to work on how we could fix this. Sent the transmission off to get a full rebuild, got it back, and now you guys are filled in. We got a full rebuild from our friends at Adsit. Once again, guys, we wouldn't be able to do any of the things we do if it weren't for our sponsors. They really hook us up. Adsit is our new exclusive Mercedes-Benz parts dealer. They have pretty much every part you could imagine. Great resource. We talked to the owners of the company, really nice guys. They hooked us up, told us everything we need to do. So basically we got the original transmission that was in the car rebuilt. They also cleaned it as well. We got a brand new torque converter. So what we're gonna do is fill this up. We gotta pop it in. There's a special sequence when you pop it in, make sure you get the 2 clicks back. Now it's time to insert the big donut. Okay, that's one right there.
Oh. All right, now the car is, we actually lowered the car a little bit to get this transmission up inside of there. Essentially, we just gotta basically work it in, connect the bolts to the engine, and a few sensors, and we're good to go.
Sounds easy, but
it won't be.
It never is. Now me and Lenny are just putting the transmission back in place, and I gotta say it's so much easier to do it with a car lift. Once again, thanks to Quick Lift USA for hooking us up with their lifts, and you can go get some with a fat discount, link in the description. So right now I'm just fingering in that last bell housing bolt, the very top. My hand is completely stuck between the transmission and firewall. If I decided to make a sudden jolt, I could probably snap my arm in half. But I am kind of stuck, especially as the transmission got tighter just now. I have to actually lean this way, twist my arm, and there we go. That was actually a lot easier than it was to remove. Still gotta tighten them down and connect all the electronics, everything that we took apart many months ago. And quite frankly, I don't remember where anything goes, and it gets even worse. Because we pulled the transmission many months ago in my home garage, we basically just pulled all the bolts out and just, put them on a table, and then we brought them here. And I'm not a Mercedes-Benz mechanic. I really don't know where any of this goes. So it's gonna be a fun guessing game trying to figure out where each thing goes. We'll figure it out.
Okay, so the first set of bolts that we wanted to tackle was for the torque converter. And on these transmissions, because they're fully enclosed, they give you this nice little, real convenient window to basically hand turn the motor so you can line it up and get the bolts in. There's 6 of them. Once all 6 are tight, then this thing is really fused to the engine. Then we can move on to other stuff.
So while Lenny's tightening those bolts, I'm going to just turn over the motor by hand so that it spins it so that he can get the next bolt in.
All right, go a little bit more. Okay, I can see it. A little bit more. All right, stop.
Okay, and now I'm just tightening the bolts that, they're basically banjo bolts that hold the hydraulic lines into the transmission. The problem with this one right now is that every time I tighten it, it's not really getting too tight. So I don't want to strip it, but at the same time, I don't want it to leak either.
Yeah, those are super prone to leaking.
I'm just gonna go a little bit more.
What was that?
I fucking broke it.
You're joking, right?
We may be fucked. This might take longer than I thought.
Where is it?
It's inside there. A piece just fell off. I think the bolt head. This is really bad because I don't know if we could get another bolt, and I don't know if we could pull this bolt out. This is the last thing you want to break. I didn't want to do it too light because I've had them leak before. Look at that.
Did it really break? Oh,
I barely gave it any force and it just broke. Maybe I could get it out. It's spinning.
Okay,
it just goes to show how loose it is. It's not even that tight. Oh, that's good. But I'm worried because if it came out so easily, it must not have been that tight. At this point, we thought this would delay us and set us back maybe a few days to a week, because when we looked online, it said the banjo bolt was discontinued, but we weren't gonna give up too easily. I don't know where we could get another one of these pieces.
That's not something you can go to O'Reilly's and pick up.
No. Believe it or not, it's only been 1 day since we broke the bolt. We already got a brand new one. We went to Beach Benz. The people there are so nice. They got us the replacement bolt that we needed, which I looked online, it was very hard to find. And they gave me a new seal, O-ring, for the dipstick housing. Now, you can't just put any O-ring on the dipstick housing, because if you do, and it's not the perfect correct size, you're gonna have transmission leaks. And it's the type where when you leave the car sitting for like a few days, it'll just start leaking. I've had the problem with the Chevelle. You have to get the right one. See that big fat boy right there? All girthy and thick. That is going to create the perfect seal right around here. Now with the proper seal, transmission shouldn't leak. All you gotta do is just put the hold down bolt in. Okay, round 2. Am I gonna break the second bolt? Hopefully not.
It's tough because these things have crush washers. So if it's not crushed all the way, it'll leak, but you can't do it too tight. Don't do it too tight, Noah.
No more.
All right. Let's move on.
Now we just have to hook up all the linkage and all the remaining bolts. Luckily, even though this is a European car, everything is very simple and straightforward. You don't need a manual or instructions. It's almost common sense to put it all back together. It's basically like Legos. The Mercedes engineers really knocked it out of the park with this model. Now that the transmission's pretty much all hooked up, we got a few last components to connect before we could put the exhaust back on. We got the hood in the beautiful service mode. I mean, this is just genius German engineering right here. Why doesn't every car come like this? We've got this cable that I gotta fish with this, and this is the cable that comes off the transmission. All the spark plug wires had to go back together, and the Bowden cable for the transmission had to be set. And of course, the exhaust had to go back on. The bolts were so badly rusted, so we just put the entire piece back on in one piece. Okay guys, we are at the final step. We are putting the transmission fluid into the car. And so far I've put almost a whole gallon in. This thing takes a lot of transmission fluid. It's got the transmission fluid, it's got the transmission, it's got the exhaust, it's got everything back in. I think it's ready to run. Let's see if we did it right. So I'm gonna start the car and we're gonna take it around the block, see if it moves. Okay, let's start this thing. There we go, baby.
Okay, it's going in reverse.
Reverse works, that's good news. It worked before though.
Okay, now for the moment of truth, dude. Put that thing in drive.
So we got it in drive.
No way.
Okay, right when you think that everything's figured out, of course the car's shaking a little bit too much and we got a check engine light. So let's figure out what's going on because I want to drive this bitch. I'm used to cars with OBD2 where you plug in the scanner and it tells you exactly what's wrong with the car. Well, this car's old and it doesn't have that. In fact, it's got a very special thing that I had to show you and include in this video because I pulled this little cover off right here and what you see is a bunch of numbers. Now I'm gonna show you quickly how we can figure out what's wrong with the car, well, what's causing the check engine light by using this. And if you've ever played any video game where you have to do some kind of Easter egg where there's all kinds of steps or any kind of puzzle, that's what this is. So watch as I do this. I hold this between 2 and 4 seconds, no more, no less. 1, 2, 3, let go, and watch. Now I count it. 1, 2, 3, 10, 11. Okay, flash 11 times. Now, you basically do that and you get all the codes. We only have a number 11 code. What that translates to is the secondary air system, which is not really a big deal. That's some smog bullshit that they have where basically it takes a bunch of air, hot air from the engine, throws it to the catalytic converter to warm it up on startup. It has to do with this big unit right here, which I do have to get this car smogged, and I'm gonna do it the right way. So I gotta fix that somehow, but probably an electrical connection. So the real problem is some kind of misfire. I can feel it in the car. I think we may have found our problem. As I was pulling out the spark plug wire, gently tugged, like right around here, and this whole thing just ripped right off. So the fact that this thing just pretty much came apart tells me that something's not right here. So we got a brand new set of wires we're gonna put on. Hopefully that solves our issue. So we're just gonna pull out each plug, take a look at them. You know, I bought a whole new, brand new set from Mercedes-Benz. It actually wasn't as expensive. It was about $6 per plug, which isn't that bad from Mercedes. You know how much they wanted per spark plug wire? They wanted $120 per spark plug wire, when I could get the OEM set for about 120 bucks. From the classic Mercedes-Benz parts, 120 from the normal Mercedes dealer per spark plug wire. And they only had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. They didn't have number 5. They said number 5 is discontinued. Now, why would they discontinue one wire? I don't know. So there we go. It's Baru. It looks OEM, made in France. I'm pretty sure this is the OE spark plug they used. Doesn't hurt to replace them. We got the brand new plug, gap to specification. Let's put them in. Maybe a little bit overkill, but this is a gear wrench extension. And the reason why I'm showing you guys that is because Gear Wrench, super awesome people, decided to hook us up with a full set of tools. And this has made our lives a million times easier, especially these extensions, because putting in that transmission, you need the extensions in order to go all the way through to hit the bell housing bolts, especially in the M6. So I'm not gonna get into exactly what we've done to the M6 so far. You'll have to wait for that video. But in the M6, we've been working on it lately, and I needed these, and these saved the day. So thanks to Gear Wrench for giving us this. I mean, look at this right here. I don't know when I'll ever use this, something this big. I mean, this is to like pull out, like, you know, the bolts on a street light. So awesome. Awesome to have. You know, they hooked us up with all kinds of tools, which you'll be seeing us use. I mean, just everything we could possibly need. They also gave us, you know, torque wrenches. They gave us a torque to angle torque wrench, which is great for like building LS motors and stuff. So, well guys, it looks like we're saved not too far away. I got myself an STI. Now, this is an STI proudly assembled in the USA. This is not sponsored, by the way. It's just a funny name. But most importantly, I needed some spark plug wires, and look at that. We got it. Oh, they're Bremis. It says Germany on it. So is it German? Is it made in the USA? Who knows? But beautiful. Look at these, brand new. Here's the thing. This is a car that I want to be able to take on long drives, maybe across the country and back. You can't delay your maintenance. For your maintenance, you're gonna get fucked. You're gonna get stuck on the side of the road. Let's swap these over.
Okay, longest one first for number 6 cylinder. There we go. 1 down, 5 more to go. All right, 3 more to go. All right, all the plugs are in. Go ahead, fire this bitch.
That sound is really getting annoying now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that fixed it.
Does it feel smooth?
It's so smooth now. I don't feel, so before it was like a little bit like shaky, and obviously like the choke's on right now. That's why it's like revving a little bit higher, and you could notice it really well. Now it's like smooth, like perfectly smooth. So I think we're good now. I think we may have done it. Like, let's go drive this thing, dude. I'm so fucking excited. Like, I'm a Benz owner now, dude.
Okay.
Okay, we are officially driving the Mercedes. It has been like 6 months, it feels like, since we got the car, you know, got it running, and then went out to drive, and it only went in reverse. But now, we're going forward, baby. And I gotta say, just first impressions. Remember, guys, I'm not a huge Euro guy, but I'm getting into the whole Euro thing. If you watched our previous video with the BMW, it blew my mind what the capabilities of a European car can do. And this isn't a BMW. This is a Mercedes-Benz. These are supposed to be the best cars that you can possibly get. And the 1W4 platform is the best that Mercedes ever did. You'll never top that when it comes to reliability, when it comes to style, when it comes to so many different things. And overall, the immediate thing that I'm noticing about this car, yes, it's, you know, over 30 years old, is that it's built like a tank. When you close the doors, it doesn't feel like cheap plastic, or that the doors aren't gonna line up, or that it's gonna, something's not gonna go right. It feels like a vault door, but not like too heavy where it's a nuisance. It feels like good. It feels like craftsmanship. It felt like when Mercedes built this car, they said, I want a car that can go 1,000,000 miles. And we're gonna do whatever we can to strive to achieve that. That's what it feels like. And overall driving it, Doesn't look like we need an alignment. That's good. Brakes work, surprisingly. Transmission is shifting. The first to second was a little hard, so there's a little bit of fine adjustment that we could do to, make sure that the shifting is perfect. But overall, I'm just taking it around the street, just making sure that it's safe to drive, and it's a smooth car. When I press these buttons, I get the AC working. Believe it or not, we got fucking working AC in this bitch. So that's crazy. Although if you click these buttons a little too hard, it'll come off and fly. Yeah, there we go. We got to change the cabin air filter.
Oh, it stinks in here.
We spilled a little bit of transmission fluid on the headers, and I could smell it burning up.
Here, let's
Oh,
just.
there we go.
All right. Let's just go
There we
ahead.
go.
Let's just go ahead and turn this off.
Yeah, we got all the wood is in pretty nice shape. This dash is not cracked, guys. If you have any car from the 90s, there's a 110% chance that the dash is cracked. Believe it or not, this is not cracked, and I believe this is original. This doesn't look like a cover.
Yeah, this
So-
is original.
So that's crazy. That means that this car has been garaged, had a cover on it. This is needs to be replaced. So,
Oh,
yep, there we go.
all right.
These are minor things. These are things that we can fix easy peasy. Overall, I think this car is very solid, which means it's the perfect candidate for an OEM Plus AMG HAMMER build. And we're gonna get the body kit. On top of everything, we have a fucking working sunroof. I mean, how great is that? I don't think I've had a car with a sunroof before. I love sunroofs. So that's pretty cool. I think we're gonna go cruise the beach. I think I'm gonna have to kick Lenny out because it's kind of weighing down the car right now.
Ah, shut the fuck up.
Dude, I'm a Benz owner now.
Okay, okay.
All the gold diggers are gonna be wanting.
Okay. And I gotta say, riding as a passenger in this vehicle is quite the experience. Now, I am no small, petite European man. I am a big, bearded, 6'2", large American man, and I fit in this little car very well. It's very comfortable. I could sit in this car for a full road trip, no problemo, which I gotta be honest was one of my worries for these small little old European cars. So I just gotta say, like, as a passenger, quite a pleasant experience for all sizes.
Now don't you ever be sad. Lean on me when times get bad. When the day comes, I know you're done.
Well, I think I'm a Mercedes guy now. This is an amazing car. And I know it's had such an amazing story. I mean, this car was in immaculate shape. Obviously, it's got high mileage. Obviously, the transmission blew up. There was a lot of problems, spark plug wires, a little bit of maintenance things here and there. But now we have it running. Now we have a $100 Mercedes up and running. We are going to take this to the next level. We are doing an AMG HAMMER build. Throughout this journey so far, I've learned to grow a massive appreciation for Mercedes, as well as learn a lot about this car because this is Mercedes' most reliable car ever made. In fact, this engine, there's many accounts where they last 400,000 miles. Now that's a massive accomplishment. I've even heard that the legendary Toyota 2JZ was stolen from this engine. Basically, they took this engine, reworked a few things, boom, there you go, a 2JZ engine came from a M103 engine. Now, those are just rumors I've heard. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. What an experience. And just a few little OEM plus parts, and we can make this thing the most badass car on the block, an AMG HAMMER. And the good news is we got a lot of parts coming, and those episodes are gonna come out very, very soon. So you're gonna wanna stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe if you aren't already, but this is just the beginning.